Being Wineful is all about being in the moment and truly enjoying wine. It's about community and connection and a space to learn in a fun and joyful way. It's not intimidating. And often just a little bit of knowledge helps with building confidence. And I am deeply passionate about supporting the independent wine trade, local wine shops, restaurants, wine bars, and helping keep our local community really vibrant and colourful. So today, on that vein, I'm joined by James and Davide from Sotto. So
Afternoon.
welcome and thank you for coming.
No, thank you.
Or thank you for me coming to you.
Yeah, we're delighted to have you.
Thank you so much. So would you just introduce both of yourselves and maybe tell us a little bit about how you got into wine and the story behind that?
Yeah, so my name's James. I'm the owner of Sotto. Been working in the hospitality industry for probably 15, almost 20 years now. Yeah. Kind of got into wine through that journey, I guess. Probably started from a younger age with my family, getting me involved in wine. And yeah, here we are, 18 months into our journey at Sotto. And this is my longtime good friend and colleague.
And I'm Davide, general manager here at Sotto. I started, I come from a wine village called Gavi, situated in the south of Piedmont. So wine wasn't new to me when I started in the industry. Probably I was 14 years old. But I discovered my interest into wine actually in Edinburgh through a good friend and sommelier called Silvio, which has been both our mentors. It made me fall in love with wine. And I discovered that I thought I knew a bit about wine. And then you start to learn, and the more you learn and the more you discover you know nothing about it.
Well, I think that's always the beauty of wine. It's like you think you get to the next level, and and you're like, oh my God, it's just never ending.
Particularly Italy.
I mean, I have a blind spot for Italy, and that's why I'm really interested in Italy as a country because of all the native grape varieties and even some of the different names as well. So is that your specialism? Is it more in Italian wine, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say we have a blind spot for wine that's anywhere not from Italy. Through kind of professional experience and then working and opening this restaurant, the wine list here is exclusively Italian. We have a couple of champagnes and some of my brother-in-law's wines from South Australia, but beyond that, the list is completely Italian. 250 bins deep at the moment, I think.
And even in Divino, when we were working,
yeah, that's true.
It was 90% Italian.
Concentrates your focus and your knowledge and your experience. So yeah, I think the relevance of that for this is that kind of I go out to other restaurants, and if sometimes I feel outside of my comfort zone when I'm going through a list, and if you don't see things that are Italian, then I try and have a rule where I don't drink Italian wine when I go out for dinner.
That's good.
Because just to try and keep myself some basic knowledge on the rest of the world. Some other countries do make wine as well.
So here's a question. Outside of Italy, where is your go-to region, would you say?
For me, probably South Australia. I lived in Adelaide for a year.
Okay.
Worked in a wine bar out there, and yeah, it's a really, really exciting wine region. There's a lot of Italian grapes. Incidentally, there's a big Italian community in that part of the world, and they kind of brought their grapes with them when they emigrated. South Australia, or where else do I like? Don't know. Italy or South Australia for me.
And I love that there's actually Italians in South Australia.
Yeah, I usually end up drinking Sangiovese or Fiano
or Nebbiolo. For me, I think it depends a lot of the mood and the budget. Because I love France. But I think to get the quality you want, I like from France, you need a higher budget. If I want to stay within range for maybe early week, or I go to a friend's house on Wednesday night, I don't want to go crazy, is either Spain or Portugal, which they make absolute gem for 10 pence on a dollar. Yeah.
I mean, the value in Spain
insane.
and Portugal is insane, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So, what would you say is the most formative memory of yours that got you into wine?
Yeah, I mean, I probably both of us are quite lucky. I'm lucky. My family. My dad was a big wine drinker. He was very, very classic in his taste. So if he was drinking French wine, if it was red, it was from Bordeaux, and if it was white, it was from Burgundy, and not much else beyond that. Very, very sort of classic in his tastes. And yeah, introduced me to wine. There was always some wine on the dinner table and part of the conversation with the family. My sister, who's a year and a half older than me, she is much better educated about wine and has a much better palate than I do. I never tell her that, but it is true.
She knows now.
She's about to find out. Yeah, I mean, she started working in the wine industry before I did. Yeah, maybe wanting to follow in her footsteps a little bit. And
Is that your sister in Australia?
yes,
Right?
so she lives now she lives just outside of Adelaide. But yeah, she used to work in hospitality over in this country as well. And yeah, I think it's just in my family's blood.
It's in the DNA.
Yeah.
And for me, it has been definitely my grandfather.
Oh.
Because my I don't know in English how you say a person doesn't drink alcohol. That's my mom.
I don't know that.
I don't know
Not,
the word.
not in our friendship group.
Yeah, there's no word for that.
And my father enjoyed a glass of wine, but never got a culture about it. But for a period of my life, I've been brought up by living with my nonna and nonno. And something that never missed on the table is a bottle of wine. Is having always all the time is a glass at lunch, a glass at dinner, and they have a beautiful house, a big villa, and they have a basement where my nonno has been collecting for all his life, all bottle of wine, every great vintage he was buying, especially Barolo, because coming from Piedmont, and he spent his life in Alessandria, which is midway from the Langhe and Gavi, and so he got a lot, a lot of bottle, and he's really passionate about wine.
You always phone me when you go on holiday.
When
he goes home on a holiday, he always phones me from his granddad's cellar, like blowing dust off a Barolo from the 50s, and
incredible.
Exciting finds,
He has an amazing collection, and I think he has been the first to really made me, created that interest into wine and explain about the grapes and the wine. And also they have a very big garden where he grows some Barbera and some Merlot on a pergola. So I remember I can't really locate where in my memory but in my childhood when there was the harvest, we're getting the grapes and then crushing it with my sister with the feet old ways, and then when the fermentation was starting, like drinking the must of like the fermented juices before his wine, low alcoholic content, very similar to actually a cider.
Yeah. Wow.
So that I would say is the most
I love
interesting memory about
I love that story, and I guess when you're in the UK or Scotland, we don't really have that background.
No.
But on the table is probably how most of us have got into it, like a parental influence or something like that in a formative memory. So thank you for sharing. What do you think was a wine game changer for either of you? Like something that just really switched you on?
That's a good question. The first wine that really left a mark on me or left an impression on me was maybe quite late. I was just started working in Divino, and a good regular came in and ordered a 2016 Angelo Gaia Barbaresco, and I just
great choice.
Yeah, well, and just the he offered me a glass. And I can still like put my nose in an empty glass almost and smell that wine. It was just left an impression on me.
I love that. And just before I come to you, that is a similar story for me with this wine as well. It left a really lasting impression at a specific moment in time. And then when I went to said place and found it again, it was just lovely. So so
and actually the other one I drank with was sorry to interrupt.
No,
drank with you was when I moved back from Australia and before we opened this restaurant. Davide, the project was kind of already underway, and Francesco, the head chef, and Davide were already on board. And I remember we came back. It was a nice summer's day. We went to Inverness Park, and you brought a bottle of 1992 Barolo, Terre de Barolo, and we drank it with a picnic in Inverness Park. And that was 1992 was my birth year. So
lovely.
That was that was. I think it's that one sitting over there, is it not? Yeah, and again,
is that the very one?
There we go. Look at that. The very bottle takes me back. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if 1992 was a particularly good vintage in Piemonte, but it was just singing.
It's nowhere.
It was singing. I picked up a fiver at auction, was it? Well, there you go. That just shows you that maybe you don't even. It's not always necessarily the most. I mean, a 92 Barolo is quite a prestigious bottle of wine, but it can be the moment and the experience and who you're sharing it with is often as much of an influence as what you're drinking specifically.
Love that. That's fantastic.
I totally agree with you. Sometimes it's not the most expensive. It's maybe the experience or a moment of awakening.
Yeah.
Has been probably Silvio for me when I was working at Divino. So coming from Piedmont, we have quite austere, harsh grapes to start with. Not very beginning, I don't know, at least I know in my case, they're not very beginner friendly. And I had a wow moment, was tasting a wine from Puglia, which is still one of I have a sweet spot from Puglia.
No pun intended.
He knows, and sometimes make joke about it because, well, it is because sometimes Puglia is you go rich, juicy, dark. Then they have loads of other different grapes, but mainly is known for Primitivo, Negramaro, Malvasia Nera, very soft, juicy, rich. And I remember talking with Silvia and say, I don't know. I'm not too fond of red wine, and I found this a lot in restaurants with people that are like, I drink only white, or I don't drink red at all, I don't like red. And we had an enomatic machine, which is a machine where you can have multiple bottles and have a taste. They last for weeks because there is no oxygen coming in contact with the wine. And so he poured a little taste of this, I think it was a wine, 5.James, a blend, Primitivo Negramaro. And he said, okay, tell me if this is too harsh for you. And I remember drinking it and thinking, I never tasted a red wine like this. It was just soft and juicy and hugging. And that was one of the moments where, well, maybe some of the you build around you ideas and they stick with you. Like, I don't like this and I don't like that.
Yeah, preconceptions of it.
Yeah. Exactly, and that has been like a big castle fell down for me. And I was like, oh, maybe I know nothing about it. Maybe I had other moments as well. I think with Sauvignon Blanc, because I always stayed. Well, one of the most common to find as well is Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, and at the beginning, especially, like you think is very harsh. Well, they very high acidity, a bit more difficult to approach maybe. A personal taste, and then you try Polyfumé and you fall in love with Sauvignon Blanc. Yeah.
This is very true, and I was one of those people for many years that was like, oh no, I'll only have a Sancerre, for instance, or a Polyfumé. And then I'm like, oh, but I can't stand Sauvignon Blanc. And, you know, I think that is, we'll come on to that, some of those misconceptions. And I think you're always humbled by wine.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really interesting in those particular things. Like I'll say, I'm not sure about natural wine. And then I'll have this like incredible one. I'm like, oh, it's not, and it's ridiculous because it's like an entire category.
Course,
you can't just say that. And it's the same with orange wine. And I'm like, I don't really like orange wine.
I actually love cheap New Zealand Sauvignon. If someone said to me, go and spend £8 on a bottle of wine in the supermarket, it's probably what I'd buy. Yeah, it's a bit of a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I think it's a bit like Marmite, isn't it? It's like you love it or hate it.
Yeah.
I really do. So what we're going to do now is, before we move on to some more, we are going to taste some wine that I brought. So this is a little bit of fun. This is a
Sorry.
down.
Stop the gun, sorry.
So we are going to go through what is, how would you approach having a look at this wine, the nose, the palate, and then let's try and make an educated guess. Well, I obviously know what it is, so I'm not going to get involved. So this is a wine that I love dearly, and I maybe had it for the first time, maybe a year and a half ago, something like that.
Okay.
And then went on a holiday to said place, so don't have a look up where I went on holiday, and found it and just was like brilliant. So brought it back. That's what we're sharing
Thank you
today.
so much. That's kind of
you are welcome. And I would just love to know how you'd go about this.
Yeah, okay.
Let's have some fun.
Cheers, good health.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers.
It smells quite expensive, though. So thank you. Blind tasting's tricky. We're sort of thinking about starting a little blind tasting series where we put each other on the spot and maybe try and educate people about the list a little bit here.
And ourselves as well.
Educate ourselves.
Brilliant idea.
Yeah, try and exactly, I think as you're trying to do here, try and strip all the kind of intimidation out of wine and make it more approachable and a little bit less stuffy. But blind tasting is really difficult, and
this is when exactly as you said, the whole point of really this campaign about talking to sommeliers like yourself is to try and show people who are coming in that maybe, consumers will have varying knowledge about wine and also those preconceptions about, I do not like said wine. And I think the beauty is to really open up their minds and curiosity. But I think it's also really important to see that, you know, you don't know everything, right? And I know that you have a story that you want to share around that. So we can come on to that after we've done this.
I need a drink before I
let's do that then. Okay, so how would you go about assessing the wine?
Well, first of all, looking at it, the color, the kind of the viscosity level of the wine, I guess.
We're lucky having white surface.
Yes.
Can incline the wine and see how the rim is, the color of the wine. They give you already an immediate hint on the age, looking by the color, because white and red react actually to age in very different ways. Red start to lose a color, meanwhile the white gain color and it goes on the darker palette of, so the color give an immediate hint. Also, if it's clear, if it's hazy, maybe different type of vinification or wine style.
Yeah, I mean it's crystal clear. It's kind of pale straw color. It's not particularly kind of like richly pigmented or
start to go on the golden side, which again this could be a little hint which comes into the second part of the assessment, which is the nose, and I get toasty notes, so maybe oak, and also if you age a wine in stainless steel, it keep that clear, a much clearer color. When is aging wood, is usually getting some of the tannins and the color inside as well.
Yeah, so there's kind of the stainless steel fermentation that kind of really protects those primary kind of aromas, doesn't it? And the fruit aromas. So
and doesn't impact on the color.
Yeah, so there is a giveaway there, isn't there? It's like kind of maybe a bit more neutral in that it's you're kind of really getting those secondary fermentation, secondary. I remember it from the W set. It's like the primary, secondary aromas. Profiles.
The fruit is still there. There's some ripe orchard fruit, kind of like golden apples, a little bit of citrus. But as you say, it's the wine making that shows on the nose. It's the kind of toastiness, the spice, a little bit of reduction maybe.
And I think the nose is also one of the connecting what you feel on the nose because the way I always describe it to customer or friends that enter into the wine world is a bit like a wine is a minestrone, is a soup with loads of different ingredients inside. You got carrots, you got celery, you got onion, and other veggies inside. Sometimes it's difficult to pick each one of it.
Love that.
And especially blinded because even if you know what's the wine, sometimes those aromas are mixed together.
It's like a minestrone orchestra.
Yes,
you can't always like try and detect what the different instruments that are playing. And the winemaker is
bring it all together.
A great analogy.
And chefs are very good at it on identify the aromas and different. And one of the things I was actually reading a very interesting article about it is because the part of our brain connected to the smell is on the primordial part of the brain, and it's difficult to make a connection. Most of the time we eat with our eyes. There was actually we had probably in front of a bottle of wine. We had a discussion about this where you went into a restaurant blinded. In
Vietnam, that was one of the most memorable dining experiences of my life.
What, they covered your eyes?
No, so the whole, the restaurant was about this size, but it was pitch black, and you had to be led into the restaurant with your hands on the shoulder of the waiters.
Oh, wow.
And then they would sit you down at the table, and then they would take your hand and say, right, there's your wine glass, there's your cutlery, and then you had to eat completely pitch black, and it was like a test of your senses other than sight.
And how difficult it is to identify the food.
Really?
To work out what you're eating when you can't see what it is.
Isn't that interesting? Because I think my understanding is that olfactory canal here, where it's connected to the sense of smell, is so connected when we taste as well.
Yeah.
So if you've got a cold, for instance, and your nose is blocked, you can't actually taste your food. So isn't that weird that
I wonder how
that doesn't switch on when you can't see it?
Yeah. And I wonder how it would affect you if you were properly blindfolded tasting wine. Because as we're talking about the colour and what clues that gives us straight away and what that tells us.
Yeah.
And something that was smelt before. So let's go into the palate.
Chin chin.
For the, chin chin indeed. So tell us a little bit about that silly noises that we're making. Why do we do that when we taste wine?
Same reason we decant wines, same reason we use particular glassware, same reason we maybe swirl it around. It's to bring oxygen into the wine. Wine is a natural living thing, and so by oxygenating it, you're encouraging the aromas to awaken and the flavors of the wine as well.
Brilliant.
It's a bottle of wine has been under cork and trapped inside a glass bottle for its life. So as soon as it's opened and awakened, you can accelerate that process a little bit.
It's and that's what the beauty of wine, I think, as well, is you never know quite how that one is going to age. You don't know if you've gone past a certain aging window, where it starts to all fall off and drop off. So
it's the other thing about sort of making wine less intimidating is that there's a lot of rules and dogmatic sort of stigma about wine, and like decanting is one of them. Some people like decanting their wine, some people don't. It's personal preference. There's a debate to be had about whether or not it's beneficial for the wine. So I think people should just. Yeah, there's a lot of rules that we're kind of told to follow about wine, and I think a good rule is to forget
the rules.
Forget a lot of those rules,
and enjoy yourself. So, what are you getting on the palate? Is there anything else that's come to you over the nose? Something that's kind of maybe giving you a bit more of a clue?
So there is on the nose and quite recognizable on the palate that toasty notes, which probably come from the aging in barrel, probably some partially new oaked, which impart that spices, that toasty notes.
You get
Quite
that real
herbaceous,
like, sort of
citrus.
coconutty.
Yes, you're on the right track.
Which, yeah, the dilemma for me is that like coconutty, rich kind of the big influence of the oak. And I think if you eat coconut as a tasty note, often maybe leads you to America or the US or the New World. But then it's the other feature of the wine is the like racy acidity levels.
Yeah.
Really, really high acid.
Yeah.
Which conversely probably leads you to a cooler climate or to the old world maybe, I don't know. So I'm a little bit stumped by it.
Yeah. I think,
but it is delicious.
I'm going to give you one more clue, James.
One more, you haven't given us any.
Oh, well, I kind of went, yes, you're on the right tracks.
Okay.
And I would say it's on the edge of the New World, and by that I just mean geography-wise. And what I would also say is that you and I have had this before.
Oh my goodness. Together?
Not together, but I know you've had it.
ooh.
Wow.
So you have tasted this wine before, I know that.
So one good thing to
I'll
assessing
reveal at the end what that was.
one good thing to do when assessing the wine is going by elimination. So
Exactly.
yes, new, old, the type of grape variety that grows in that particular part of the world.
That's really curveball.
I know, I'm sorry, that's probably not a clue at all.
To me it's Chardonnay, but if I had to place it, maybe slightly tricky. Lots of legs in the glass. Look at that.
Yeah.
Again, that indicates slightly higher alcohol, which again might lead me to the New World if I thought it was Chardonnay, but.
Well, the viscosity could be increased also by.
Let's get you a little bit more.
Yeah, I think I need
Yeah.
another glass.
And type.
Have you got any thoughts?
It's absolutely delicious. by
It's
the way.
gorgeous,
Yeah,
isn't
is.
it?
So as soon as I put my nose in it, I thought the first thing that popped into my mind, it could have been.
Thank you. Nice
Well,
pour.
It smells a lot like France from the nose, kind of. Well, if I
were you
should
on
go
holiday in
into-
Burgundy by any chance?
Exactly. Yes. So probably yeah.
Yeah.
And then on the taste, you still got the acidity, but a bit more heavy oak than what you would find in France. So it made me rule out that option.
Yeah, this is
I've
all
had it
tick,
before.
tick,
Okay.
tick. Yeah, no, you're all along the right
yeah.
lines, and I think you're along the right lines with Chardonnay, but I've thrown in a grape which wouldn't necessarily be front of mind for you.
Okay,
Okay.
so it's not Chardonnay.
No.
What might we mistake Chardonnay for?
There's another
So
one.
yes,
Chenin?
yeah, Chenin Blanc. Probably.
Yeah, but it's not. But you're on the right tracks with that as well. And I think this, having tried it again, I'm like, yeah, you could mistake that for a Chenin Blanc. And I think that kind of acidity being higher than Chardonnay comes through, which is curious as well. Yeah. So like I said, this is a bit of a curveball. It's a bit naughty. But let me know when you want me to give you a reveal.
Put us out of our misery.
Yeah?
What's higher acid than Chardonnay, Riesling maybe, but that's not a curveball grape.
And also, it doesn't have any of the typical.
What does the edge of the New World mean? That's what that could.
I think I was meaning
cryptic clues.
Geographically,
Okay.
it's going south, but it's still very much
Another
Old World.
on that point is like another.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuffiness still about like Old World, New World wine.
Exactly,
definitely, and that's
exactly.
another like rule to just throw
Yeah.
away, and yeah.
And what's really hard as well about this, I think, is that you're spot on with cool climate in that you can also mimic cool climate by planting at altitude, right?
Sure,
Of course.
yeah.
So
Or close
I
to the
think
ocean,
again, and the ocean, and that has had influence on this. So again, I think that is what's really, really difficult about pinpointing wines at all these days. And also the fact that traditional winemaking process that was only existed there and there and there, they all blend now. I mean, Australia's a perfect example of really elegant, beautiful wines coming out.
Yeah,
that really mimic some of the kind of European techniques.
Yeah, absolutely. People think of South Australia as like, Shiraz that'll put hairs on your chest, and that's it. But they're like, there's so much exciting stuff coming out of that part of the world.
Brilliant. Okay,
put us out of our misery.
Yeah, you want me to?
It's not a Chardonnay, it's not Chardonnay.
Yeah. Well, it could be...
It's New World.
Yeah.
It could be...
It's Old World, I would say. But
is it from the Greek islands, like a Sirtico or something like that? Or,
no, but that's a good guess.
I guess that racy acid, isn't it?
Yeah. You're on the right tracks with an island.
Or even, there are some White Rioja invecchiato in barrica, which remind me of, but...
An island that's not Italy, it's not Greece.
Yeah, and I think they're doing some amazing things.
Old World Island that's not Italy.
And it's not Italy, so...
No.
A lot of this is going to have to get cut.
Yeah.
It could be...
Go for another guess.
Is it from the Canary Islands?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
My mum's going to kill me because she loves holidaying. She loves...
Yeah.
Those kind of like volcanic wines, Lanzarote, and
that's why, the hint of minerality comes from.
Yeah,
it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
What's so what grapes do they have in the Canary Islands?
You get me unprepared here. I think I never taste a wine from.
No, it's not in this particular case, but. Yeah, it is actually probably one of the most common there. But again, it just shows you, doesn't it? Like if it's not on your radar. I mean, honestly, before I had this wine, it wasn't on my radar.
Why have we never had this before?
Right, okay. So you and I were at the Noble Rot book launch event.
Oh, the dinner with Dan.
Yes, yes. And we had this wine. This is one of the wines that they have at Noble Rot. And I'm going to put us out of our misery.
That was at the Royal Scots Club. That was one of the wines during the Q&A.
So
Trenzado.
So it is Liston Blanco.
Okay, I don't feel too bad.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not like it was Gavi.
No. So this is obviously a bit of a trickster. Okay, but I wanted to maybe just show the breadth of. The wines, we just never know, we just don't know everything. And, that does mimic a lot of the kind of Chardonnay.
Credit to the winemaker that mistook that for a good white Burgundy.
I mean, isn't it phenomenal?
Yeah, it's absolutely
phenomenal. Well, it's yours to keep afterwards. You
you're
guys
so
can
kind.
share that
Thank you so much.
Later.
It's absolutely incredible.
It is incredible.
Yeah.
So that's in the Keeling Andrew portfolio?
I think it is. You could probably, if you wanted to just have a wee detour to Tenerife.
And they dig burrows in the ground, don't they, in Tenerife?
I don't know.
Because it's a bit like Pantelleria, which is an island just off Sicily where they make very famous dessert wines, and because the island is so, the climate is very harsh, lots of wind. So they dig these burrows into the ground, and the vines sit in the burrows so that they're protected from the wind. Oh,
right, wow. Yeah, because obviously in the northern part of the island where there is a lot more of the winemakers, and we had been up to, I feel really bad, I can't remember the name of the volcano there, but and the all the vineyards at the high altitude, we had such a great time exploring. This one is by appointment only. No, we didn't go to this one, but I spotted it when I was there from one of the local wine shops, and I recognised it, and I remembered how much of an impact that had on me when I went to that event, and I was just desperate to find it again, and it was a real treat to come across it.
It is a real treat.
In Tenerife.
Yeah. You were at that event as well, actually.
Set location. Yeah.
You had a good kick at the ball that night, so maybe.
I just said that I don't remember, so.
Yeah. So
should be enough.
we'll move on now. We've had a little bit of wine. That was I don't think you were going to get it, but it is just more to do with the process of either elimination, or you were totally on the right tracks with that kind of more neutral grape that's been manipulated by the winemaking process. it's at altitude, so it kind of mimics that cooler climate. But also Tenerife does have it's the Sud de Mer, so it's the low-level cloud, which also has this cooling effect. And on the north side of the island, so it's perfect for winemaking.
Like the fog for
The fog, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. So it's a phenomenal place to go because we stayed below the fog and then we drove high, and then you sit above the cloud, and it's phenomenal. It's a great place to go and investigate wine. Just talking about this whole campaign and about trying to make people feel less intimidated, I think you've got a story you even want to share about.
I guess it's, sometimes when we're in a restaurant, people do feel intimidated the idea of speaking to a sommelier because they maybe think that their knowledge or experience dwarfs theirs, and that's exactly as you're trying to achieve with this. So that's something people should, not be scared by. When I was working at Divino, probably my greatest faux pas as a waiter or sommelier, we had some really good regulars in, and they were entertaining some clients who were over from the States, and they had the most expensive bottle of wine from the list, which was Soldera Brunello di Montalcino from Sangiovese from Tuscany, £1,000 for the bottle. And they're halfway through their meal, enjoying their wine as we are here. They finished their pasta, and they still had some of their wine left, some in the decanter still, but they were out for a good night, and they said, right, let's have some espresso martinis just to like break up the course of the evening and sort of lift the vibes a wee bit. So they ordered 4 espresso martinis, and as I was going to the table, tray in hand, cocktail glasses on the tray, tripped, fell, and threw the tray of espresso martinis, not just all over the customers, but into the wine glasses, into the carafe, completely destroyed a £1,000 bottle of wine. And it was just one of those moments where you want the world to just swallow you up. Fortunately, they're lovely, lovely people, and they were, good regulars, and they were very understanding of the situation.
They were good regulars.
Yes. And it, just one of those moments that, we are human as well, I guess. But it was, I've never dropped a tray drink since, put it that way. I don't know, some things you learn the hard way in life.
That is brilliant. And I remember doing silver service as well as a teenager when I was younger, and actually just pouring the whole tray of whatever it was that I was just straight onto the lap of one of the ladies sat at this obviously very well-to-do place. And again, when you're younger as well, I think you're just mortified. You can probably handle it a little better when you're older. But I do have another wine story where I also kind of chucked a wine and must have tripped or something over somebody's gorgeous coat. And that was just one of those moments. And I was like, well, dry clean it.
Did you pick up the tap?
It's just that moment where you're like, you're almost in slow motion. I bet that happened to you. You're like,
It's like time stops. And you can,
time stops. So thinking about when people come into Sotto, what do you tend to do to put them at ease, and what kind of questions would you ask, or what could they do more to make their experience enjoyable as well?
Well, I guess, you typically on the floor as a sommelier more than me, so I'll maybe let you answer it more. But both of us, our other great mentor in hospitality was Tony Corolla, who owns the Vittoria Group. And the thing he always says was, when you just go up to the table, what do you like to drink normally? What do you normally like to drink? And then that gives you, if they say, oh, well, I like fresh growth Bordeaux from certain vintages and certain producers, then you're talking to someone with a particular level of wine experience. And if someone says, oh, well, I don't like Chardonnay, but I quite like Sauvignon Blanc, and it's a good way of gauging their level of knowledge. And then as a sommelier, I think one of our duties or responsibilities as a sommelier is to kind of tailor your language, or tailor how you approach the situation based on their level of knowledge, because that makes you can kind of make it less intimidating for them. But it's something you're very good at. So
this is a great icebreaker when you go to the table and just ask what you like normally to drink, and you can reconnect. We were talking before, Italy has unofficially 1,200, more than 1,200 native grape varieties.
Wow.
So if you like Rioja, I have something that you can drink instead and try a new wine. So, well, two things that scare people off a lot is be disappointed and being judged. And these are the two biggest holdback. And the worst thing a person can do if you go to a restaurant, because we as a sommelier made mistake and sometimes make big mistakes or our knowledge are tested by a difficult question. We don't know everything, and we're human being, and this is our journey to learn. And so I think this is two big mistakes that people do when I used to do when I was going to a restaurant, because I don't want to feel judged for not knowing. You can experience this, and people in hospitality for sure can reconnect to this happening when you go with a bottle and open it at the table and you ask who is going to taste. There is immediately for the person that of course is pointed by the other a moment of suspense and like, oh my god, you are deciding for the table and you know you put immediately there is a bit of discomfort. Meanwhile, because I don't know, much of this coming probably from the fact of not being educated about particular fact, like how do I know a wine is good or bad?
Sure.
Which
I think the other thing, just to like pick up on that sometimes quite often what I say to a table is because people feel maybe scared by the fact that once I've chosen something, that's it, I'm going to drink the whole. I just say, if you don't like it, we'll swap it for something else and we'll sell that by the glass. And that's a nice way to relax people sometimes as well, because especially in Italy, where Italy is a country that celebrates native varietals. So you don't, I mean, we have Chardonnays and Merlots and Cabs on our list, but they're not the grapes that typically make up our list. So that makes it a particular challenge, because it's lots of native indigenous varietals that people maybe have never heard of, so they just think, what on earth is that going to taste like?
So you just brought me onto something that even I do as a consumer, which is quite often won't go for a bottle because I feel a bit nervous in case I don't actually like it.
Yeah.
And so I tend to do by the glass, because I think, okay, well, if I don't like that one particular glass, it's not the end of the world.
Exactly.
But I love that you've just said that if somebody comes in here and that you'd actually just sell it by the glass.
And you can tell, when you, of course, when you open a bottle of wine and they sort of, they smell it and they taste it. And, obviously when you go to a table and you're opening a bottle of wine, again, contrary to people's popular beliefs, maybe we're not assessing whether or not you like the wine. We're assessing whether or not it's in good condition.
Yes. Which is a misconception, isn't it? So when you're asking somebody at a table, it's kind of one of those old traditions. You're assessing whether the wine is faulty or not.
Yeah.
As opposed to, do you like it?
Actually, literally a conversation we were having at the weekend. Places, I mean, my favourite restaurant in the UK probably is Noble Rock in London.
Brilliant.
If you order a
that's
bottle of wine,
there you go. Yeah.
But if you order a bottle of wine there, oh my God. If you order a bottle of wine there, they don't bring the wine to the table for you to taste. They taste it because they're so confident in their offer and so confident that they're the educated ones and they're the professionals, and they'll determine whether the wine is good or not, and they bring it to the table and pour it, and there's
a confidence in that, though, isn't there?
Yeah, but it like strips out again. It's a bit of a sort of going to the table with the wine, customer tastes it,
and many times, as I said, you put people at discomfort because they don't know what they are looking at, and they don't know what they are supposed to do.
Would it help with that bottle of Sassicaia last weekend?
But like Dan Keeling, isn't it, of Noble Raw? I mean, that's what he tries to do, which is to strip out some of those pretensions. So that the customer doesn't have to experience that or try and figure out what's going on.
My personal approach is trying to educate. So when I go to the table and I see a bit of discomfort and to try a wine, I just go with my script, which is if you don't feel wet cardboard or sherry or port, unless it is, or nail polish remover, it's
we always joke. I shouldn't make the joke because it's you're so passionate about what you do, and it's such a joy to watch. But Davide loves to, get into a deep conversation at the table about wine, and sometimes on a Saturday night at 8 o'clock, there's other things going on, and he'll be deep in a story about the wine or the producer or the grape or where it's come from. And I always come up and say, like, did you get to the Renaissance? Yeah. But it's tongue in cheek, and I mean it well, because it's
because you're so passionate.
And
I think that's what's so lovely. If you come to a wine bar versus just going to the pub and choosing a wine, you're gonna, if you want it, you can invite in these stories about wine,
exactly,
the heritage.
But this is what is the best part of my job is having people that are genuinely interested into discovering and learning. Like I was, and somebody opened up a new world to me, and you walk away not just with more knowledge, but we walk away with a whole experience, and possibly also a different lifestyle, because from tomorrow you're going to explore and be interested into a new grapes or wine in general.
And there is an appetite for people. I think one of the things people talk about now is that the younger demographic, our age group of people, are drinking less. Drinking more considered.
I like how you said our age group and not over the table there.
No. Our, including everyone.
I know, you've told me your birth year, I'm definitely older.
But yeah, like people are drinking less but more considered. So there is, and that's such a nice thing for us, is that there is an appetite for people to learn. People want to try new things and be challenged and have new experiences, and that's great as a sommelier.
And the whole thing about being mindful, and that's where the name came from, was around really making those choices where, yes, you might spend a little bit more, but you drink a little bit less, because, when you're really kind of enjoying that wine in a really sensory moment, you're not glugging it to the back of your throat and missing all of those gorgeous sensations in your mouth, where you're picking up the taste buds and the aromas. And I think one of the things when I'm not saying you have to, and consumers have to smell every single time. It's a habit of mine because it's all the years of just doing that, right? And I can't help it. And I also find myself even making the sounds in restaurants as well. But I think unless you smell it at least once, I think you are missing a little bit of a chance and opportunity to really get the full potential of a wine.
Probably the thing I think you get taught in WSET is like a really good thing for people to remember is when you taste the wine, close your eyes and count how long you can taste.
For the finish.
And that's always a good indicator of quality, at least.
That's right. Or what are your views on food and wine pairing?
Great question. Again, we were talking earlier about rules and dogma, and again, I think there's a lot of over-prescribed rules about food and wine pairing. In my experience, food and wine in general are two things that go hand in glove and go well together, and people shouldn't feel intimidated about the idea of having to pick the right wine to have for the right dish. Having said that, there's certain things I love. I love sparkling wine with fried things.
Oh yes. Fish and chips and champagne.
The perlage, the bubbles, the acid, that raciness with fried things. Maybe it's just because I love fried food.
A good excuse to open a bottle of champagne and some fried food.
But yeah, so, I mean, we were talking about it the weekend. There's like the two different ways you can think about pairing food and wine, which I don't know. Yeah, maybe you want to touch on that. But
we have a. Well, I started working in hospitality since 14. I got a bit closer to wine since moving to Edinburgh, which was around 7 years ago. And working in hospitality, one of the things that usually happen is you have different type of customer. The one that comes and just want a bowl of pasta and a glass of wine, and they're not necessarily interested into making a pair.
Yes.
And I think this is then your job as a waiter, as a sommelier, to interest the customer if they, I'm not trying to upsell, I just try to make you do an experience and put you at ease. And as I said, we live in a time where we do not eat to feed ourselves anymore. We do it to have an experience. We use it to connect with people. And I think, as you well said before, it's just wine and drinks in general are an enhancer for this experience. And then you got people more interested into discovering and do pairings and some people overthink it. There is no rules and boundaries about wine. I remember I had a customer recently. They came. They were stressing a bit about, do the pairing, ask loads of questions, but they were a bit picky with wine. At some point, I was like, listen, you want my recommendation? Just pick a bottle that you like. Let's find a wine that you love and order whatever you like from. There is no necessarily you have to have a fish with white or a light chilled red.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most common misconceptions,
Totally,
isn't it? Is the fish
Yeah.
and white wine
Yeah.
misconception.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A good simple rule to remember is what grows together goes together. So
Yeah.
and particularly with Italy, very regional cuisine. So you get lots of
We're very
variation in the food, which we're very, as you say, we're very lucky here. The chefs, we change the menu all the time, and we're always showcasing different dishes from different regions. And yeah, there's always a complimentary wine from the region.
That terroir of the soil, what you said about grows together, goes together, because obviously the vines are in the same soil, that the produce and even the animals that are feeding from those grasses, etc. And you quite often from those regional wines, and especially in Italy, you will get almost like the same herbs coming through. Which is quite phenomenal. And I remember thinking how did that happen? How have I got oregano? I feel like I'm having a pizza.
Which you can taste that in Sangiovese sometimes, or why Barolo and truffles go together, because you can taste the truffle in a glass of Barolo.
And Tuscany is another great example. You got thyme and rosemary and wild Oregon, because it grows in the field and. I don't know, maybe some of the essential oil get transferred on a scientific point of view, but it's incredible.
It is incredible, isn't it? Perfect, thank you. So price is a big topic for people, and I think it's one of those ones that makes customers especially nervous.
Yeah.
Especially if they're looking for a recommendation and say they're on a date, for instance, and you're not really wanting to out people.
To navigate.
Yeah, how do you go about assessing either budget or how you make your recommendations as well? Especially now you've got 250 lines.
Well, we spoke about Silvio at the start. Silvio was awesome. Just used to literally go up to a table and say, "Right, guys, here's the wine list. How much do you want to spend?" And again, just
let's
completely
get it out.
take the stuffiness out. Let's just all be open and honest. Whatever.
Brilliant.
But yeah, like you say, there might be particular circumstances if it's a date or someone taking their family-in-law out for the first time or anything, where there's a bit of discretion is important. And so normally you're kind of striking up a conversation with a particular person at the table who's in charge of the wine. They've got the list in front of them, and I'll just sort of point to the list and say, are we looking here? Are we looking here? How many zeros are we? And try and guide them to maybe a rough price point, and not say like, right, do you want to spend 40 quid?
Yes.
Sometimes you can exercise a little bit of discretion and still get to the bottom of how much they want to spend.
Here's a technique I use as well.
Yeah.
I go close to the person and I point to the price and where are we tonight?
Yes.
Because it could mean 100 things, and especially if it's a date or if it's a business dinner or you can see. You also see the tension and you read a bit the room. But I think this has been one of the biggest lifesaver for me to make to create a good environment and not make anyone feel awkward about it. It's like, where are we tonight? And usually what happens is they give you a range and then you go from there.
And it's why it's super important as sommeliers and as restaurateurs, and when curating your list, you've got to have wines that you're proud of,
yes,
at all price ranges, because you don't, and you sort of touched on it earlier, the worst thing you can do as a sommelier is give the impression that you're only just trying to increase how much they're spending, and that just gives off a nasty.
And it's sad because sometimes when we recommend wine, good wine are usually a bit more pricey than the entry level.
Like we got Frappato on the list. I think it's 35 quid. It's one of my favourite wines that we have in the building. So,
And I think you touched on something that I think is really important. Where are we tonight? Because it depends on what mood we're in, right?
Course.
So sometimes we'll go out and actually only want to spend £40 in a bottle. Another night might be like the date night or something, and it is £120.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean you always at that price point, you know?
Yes.
It's going to be him when on Valentine's, isn't it?
No, I still remember the Chin Chin from Noble Rock.
Chin Chin is great. I mean, that's another good one, which is ideal. Yeah. It's like £12 retail or something, I think.
Yeah, when we went to Noble Rock, we didn't have it.
Yeah.
No,
we didn't. We had ridiculously expensive.
Date night, was it?
Yeah, it was a date. It was a date night.
But yeah, generally speaking, sometimes there is a very good wine entry level, and sometimes if a sommelier do a recommendation for a bit more expensive wine, it doesn't always mean they want to upsell. Just recommend a better quality wine.
Yeah.
And we know.
And price probably guides the region that it takes you to Italy, because everyone knows Piemonte and Tuscany, the secret's out. Barolo and Brunello and Super Tuscans are expensive now because they're so revered and so sought after. But there's still amazing value to be found in Italy, particularly in Sicily and in the south. And so by giving an indication of how much you want to spend, it maybe leads us to find you a more relevant wine.
That's perfect. Yeah. Brilliant answer, thank you. How do you check for wine faults? I think you touched on it a little bit about what are the things you ask people.
Yeah, there is more than 131 different faults in wine, which sometimes are, there is definitely a spectrum. We touched on this, me and James having a discussion last week about it, because especially when you open a whole bottle of wine, there is all kind of fault that could have happened during that 20 years of life. The wine is a bit like a human being. If you treat it with respect, give a good environment, feed it well, it lasts for a long time. For wine especially the big ones are keeping away from vibration. The sunlight is a killer. That's why I recommend my customer to never leave a bottle on the kitchen counter. Change fluctuation in temperature, light, vibration. It's like the worst place you can keep it. Oxygen is a big one. If you keep the wine sit upright on a horizontal position, because the liquid make a barrier and makes the wine age a bit longer. I said before about my grandfather, which is a wine connoisseur, but some of the bottle we had, nobody ever told him to not sit it upright.
Oh, no.
So some of the wine that were sit upright for 50 years are spoiled. Meanwhile, the one that are horizontal position, even with an incredible span of life, because Barolo can, as another handful of wine grapes in the world, they are actually still amazing when you open it. So definitely, the same way we assess the wine during the blind tasting, the color give you a big hint. If you open a bottle that is 10 years old and is brown, probably there is something wrong. Immediately looking at it, they get very hazy. That is another that is another hint on the visual perspective. And then usually the nose do the revelation if it's a wine is. I
would say the lines have been blurred a little bit though by like modern,
modern
minimal intervention winemaking, where all of a sudden things that we once thought were necessarily flaws in wine, have started to become qualities that people look out for, seek out in a wine. So like volatile acidity or Brett or reduction or oxidation or and like you say, all these things are a scale, and it's not black and white. And people's different palates and tastes, one person might taste a wine and say that it's on point and it's singing and it's as the winemaker intended, that another person might taste and say that it's completely flawed.
I mean, I had an experience when I was running a wine tasting event, and somebody hyped up. It's always you've got 30 people that you're wine communication in front of, and somebody says there's something wrong with this wine, and but everybody else in the room is kind of happy, and then they say that, well, I used to work in champagne and blah blah blah, and I'm serving a champagne, and then you're faced with that kind of that moment of going, oh God, right, well, this is a customer setting, it's also a very public setting, how do I approach this? They were quite convinced that there was sulfur in the glass. Of course, there's sulfur in winemaking because that's what helps protect it.
In the vineyard and the bottling,
everywhere. But what had actually happened was the champagne had got a little warm, and so it flattened out slightly. So it lost a little bit of that taste sensation. And we also worried that maybe the glasses weren't really, really clean, because that can also have an impact on the quality of the wine. So it's one of those moments where you have to, you kind of know you're probably right, but because it's a customer-facing situation, the best you can potentially do is offer another glass of the same one and just say, sorry, that's not to your taste, and there we go, and then you just have to carry on and move on. And that probably really was one of those moments where I was like, okay, you just need to pick yourself back up, Keira, and keep going. But it is a challenge, isn't it? And especially if you're serving to a big group and somebody's got quite a dominant voice in that group, and they say something like, this isn't right, and you've got to kind of face that challenge of, okay, well, I've got the reputation of Sotto, I don't want to make people feel bad, but at the same time you're like, oh.
Well, it's what makes it so important that you know every single one on your list. Like I had the exact experience Saturday night. A guy, lovely couple, came in for dinner and they wanted a bottle of Arnese, a Roero Arnese, a grape from Piemonte. We have a few on our list, and the one that they ordered was a very particular style from a very particular winemaker, very minimal intervention, I think no sulfur added at bottling. And depending on your perspective, maybe at that point the wine starts to, what's in the juice in the bottle starts to represent the wine making more than the varietal, or and I think that what they had was a very sort of classic, stylistically, Arnese, and then this was something a little bit funkier and a little bit different. And actually, in the end, they ended up drinking it and loving it. But it was, just a reminder that you need to, people might think, I've had this grape before, I like it, I'm going to have this really expensive version of this grape. Yeah. When it actually might be something completely different.
Yeah.
And I think that's the why we're here.
Exactly, and you have to explain that.
Yeah. But sometimes people are either overly confident or afraid of judgment, so they don't ask, and ends up in a situation where they weren't supposed to be.
A bit of a pickle.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, let's move on. Let's talk about your favourite grape. Do either of you have a grape that you love and that you could call it out?
Nebbiolo for me is probably my desert island grape. My desert island wine probably is this, but we'll maybe come on to this.
We'll come on to this at the end if that's okay. Yeah, and I would love to try this.
Probably Nebbiolo. Yeah,
brilliant.
Barolos, Barbarescos. Lang and Nebbiolo, I'd say, as a kind of midweek everyday wine.
This is a whole different topic for another time, but isn't it fascinating that, you've got the region, so you have like the Burgundy, or you have, a wine as a Barolo, but it's like, what is the grape? Mm-hmm. So again, you take something like Chardonnay of Burgundy, but people just say, I want a white Burgundy. But they don't actually know that they're drinking a Chardonnay.
It's like Montepulciano in Italy. Yeah. Montepulciano is a grape and a town, which makes it very... So Vino Nobile di Montepulciano is a Sangiovese from Tuscany, but Montepulciano d'Abruzzo is a Montepulciano grape from Abruzzo. And so
this is why Italy blows my mind.
It's a minefield.
It's true. Yeah. And also, I think picking at grapes is especially difficult, and fun as well, because one grape can be represented in so many different styles.
What's your one?
I think if I should drink one grape variety for the rest of my life, it would be Chardonnay.
Yeah.
You can have amazing, fresh, light Chardonnay, a note. You can have a mineral Chardonnay from Chablis. You can have a oaky Chardonnay from Burgundy. You can have rich Chardonnay from America. So
don't forget champagne.
Champagne, yes, sparkling. So I think, if I could choose only one grapes to drink for the rest of my life
Chardonnay.
and never been bored by it, it's Chardonnay.
Okay, you're my team. Cheers.
Cheers. Chardonnay Nebbiolo.
Chardonnay
It will live well
Nebbiolo.
for the rest of our lives.
Obscure grapes.
Okay, obscure grape.
What should people know about that they don't know?
What am I going to pick? Frappato. A lovely red varietal from Sicily. Typically comes from sort of Menfi area on the south coast, and we've got a few on our list, and big range of price points, but typically like very light, perfumed, chillable style, very kind of like on trend for want of a better phrase. But people love these kind of lighter, fresher, vibrant reds that you can drink chilled in the summer. Frappato.
That's a great one. What about you?
I think one very interesting, well, coming from Piemonte, we have quite loads of native grape variety. I think among the most interesting wine and best value you can find is a mutation of Nebbiolo for your taste. So Gemme,
Yeah.
particularly interesting, Spanna.
That's
and-
new on me.
They are genetically similar to Nebbiolo, but unknown to the public.
Could you
Ga-
get that over here? Or do you?
Got some on our list
Oh,
there.
you
Got some
do?
Spanna. Got a few. We used to have some Gemme, Chiavanesca,
Yeah.
Schioppetti, yeah. Lots of alpine, Alto Piemonte.
Nebbiolo.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that sounds brilliant. Best bang for your buck.
Cheap New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc.
Rioja Reserva.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. What is your favourite wine to drink at home in your pants?
Probably some Popelvi. Yeah, probably.
This one that we're gonna have a look at,
some
yeah.
some of my brother-in-law's wines, or I love dessert wines. I love dessert. Maybe if I was hungover in my pants, big bowl of ice cream and a half bottle of Sauterne, that would sort me out probably.
Love it.
Moscato di Asti.
Oh, that's a good one. Moscato d'Asti. Yeah,
That is a good one. Lovely.
Sparkling.
bit of bubbles.
Sweet,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Gorgeous. Right. Overrated.
Fortified wines. I'm not a fortified wine guy.
Okay. Underrated.
Calabria as a region for wine.
Okay.
Calabrian wines.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've just put a new house wine on. The head chef, Francesco, is very quickly. The head chef, his best friend is a winemaker from Calabria. We've just organised to import his wines
Brilliant.
into the UK for us, and beautiful wines.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, look forward to tasting that.
Come
with
in
the
for a
pairing.
glass.
Yes, I definitely will. Maybe one for both of you. Natural wine, yes or no?
Depends who makes it.
I'll say yes, he'll say no.
I've been proven wrong about this because
Yeah.
I try some natural wine, which are you wouldn't say they are,
Yes.
and I think that's my style.
It's a
I would
a
agree with
bugbear of
that.
mine is-
That's my take on it as well. The ones that don't shout about it, brilliant. It's the overly engineered natural but aren't engineered.
It's the same thing of overly oaked wine.
Yeah.
You just lose the beauty of it
Yeah.
to me.
Anyway, we move on. We've done one grape for the rest of your life. What would you pour when you want to impress another som?
Impress another som.
Piero Pan La Rocca.
Sorry, say that again.
Piero Pan Soave La Rocca.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
It's
I'm
a
impressed.
Soave
Okay.
coming from Veneto,
Okay.
and is very similar to what you put today. So it's like a Burgundian style Soave. Is a Soave. Well, it was a bit of a rebellion because in Veneto is the biggest region in terms of production of wine, Prosecco, Pinot Grigio. The market to go that direction, and Soave is, I think, is one of the most ancient grape in Italy.
Wow.
And this producer, seeing that all the market was following the Pinot Grigio side, say, I'm gonna go exactly the other side. And you taste that wine blinded, you would never know.
Wow, that sounds gorgeous. Excellent. Yourself?
Maybe a Greek varietal called Chino Mavro. Red
I
varietal,
love
which
that,
is people
yeah.
often compare to Barolo for the kind of
I love
high
it.
tannin, high acid, savoury qualities. And yeah, the bar I used to work in Adelaide, we used to blind taste each other all the time. And yeah, Chino Mavro was always a curveball that people would think was really expensive Barolo.
I really love it as well.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourites. We're going to move on then. I'm going to pass some of the myths because I think we covered a few of those
Cool.
anyway. Apart from Sotto, where else would you recommend to eat and drink in Edinburgh?
Great question.
Meeting Gertrude.
Yes,
I
lovely.
love so good. Great wine bar.
Yeah, fantastic.
And I'll say set lunch at Stockbridge Eating House.
Oh, now I've still to go there.
It's awesome. So good.
Brilliant.
It's like it's kind of one of those, sometimes one of the great things about a restaurant, the food is great, the wine is great, but sometimes you walk into a place and you're transported to another.
Oh, nice.
And it's a bit like, you kind of walk in, you just feel like you're in a little bistro in the middle of Paris or something.
Oh,
It's
that's
just,
fantastic.
a very lovely place and great food.
You've reminded me I haven't been, so thank you
There you
for
go.
that.
And the Palmerston for me.
Oh,
to
yes,
eat.
that's great.
I love it.
Yeah, even as a restaurant owner, I shouldn't say this, but I still say that the Palmerston is the best restaurant. When the customers ask me where's the best place to eat in Edinburgh, I should probably start saying Sotto. Yeah.
Well, let's hope Palmerston says Sotto when
Yeah.
I interview them later.
I'll text James now.
Yeah, text him. So we're going to finish with the best alternative, and then we'll have a little try
Yeah.
of your wine, James, if that's okay. So maybe for this, just jump in. It's
Yeah,
totally
cool.
grand. Best alternative to Chardonnay.
Soave la Rocca, from Piero Pan.
Bravo, yeah. Or Etna, Mount Etna.
Ooh.
Caricante from Mount Etna, great Chablis alternative. Minerally, bright acid, bit of texture, bit of weight, delicious.
That's a good one. Great. Sauvignon Blanc.
Best alternative to Sauvignon Blanc, Fiano, Sicilian Fiano.
Brilliant.
Difficult.
We can come back to you if you like. Have some thinking time.
Yeah, come back.
Yeah. Marlowe.
Merlot alternative from Italy.
I would go to the Bulgari area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so super Toscan, some Merlot, but grown in Italy, and
Nice.
fun to see the differences.
Yeah, between like a French Merlot, for instance. Cabernet Sauvignon.
Aglianico,
Tell me about that.
red varietal, native to Campania, and it has a lot of the similar.
Does
Of
it?
good claret, you get a bit of that like graphite-y pencil
Yes.
shavings.
Good structure.
Big, bold, cassis, kind of blackcurrant, dark fruit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Aglianico. Taurasi is the best expression of Aglianico from Campania. So I would say if you're
a very
if you're
good shout.
if you're a Bordeaux lover, if you like, big sort of good claret,
Take note, Ed.
Taurasi.
That'll be one
We've got
for us.
loads of good ones on our list. Plug.
That's no, that I honestly would love to try
Another
that.
one is Montepulciano Riserva.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
It shows that character of big, dark fruits, bold, and the Riserva usually mimic the aging process.
Yeah.
So
This
they
is-
have in-
This is teeing me up for a little siesta.
I'm
so
glad.
very-
I'm glad
Absolutely.
you-
I'm playing football tonight,
I'm
so I
glad
shouldn't drink too
I'm
much,
glad
but-
you're enjoying it. Malbec.
Malbec.
Primitivo from Puglia.
Oh yeah, nice one.
Amarone.
Yeah.
Old, like traditional style Amarone. Anything not too. Yeah. Primitive is a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one. Pinot Grigio.
For something like Pinot Grigio, but more elegant, bit more structure, a bit more interest. Something from the north of Italy, maybe Ribolla Gialla, something like that.
That is a good shout.
Pinot Grigio is a very so in Italy.
Yes.
Oh, very quickly. There's a lot of cheap, forgettable, mass-produced, bulk crap Pinot
That's why it's
Grigio.
got a bad name.
But if you go up into Friuli and the Collio, you get winemakers who understand the varietal, and you can get Pinot Grigio with, you know, big textural whites with lots of alpine influence, minerality. You know, with one particular producer, Callery Caltern, we got their Pinot Grigio on our list, and it's a great wine to challenge people with, because you can go to the table and
challenge perceptions.
Yeah, readjust their mindset on Pinot Grigio.
It's a very good shout. Avoid the Pinot Grigio from Veneto and try Pinot Grigio from Trentino Alto Adige, Dolomitic area, and El Collio in the Friuli Venezia Giulia Slovenian border. There is so much more interesting Pinot Grigio there.
Feluga, Ronchi, it will change your view on the
I feel like this could be a nice, almost like menu thing for you. If you like this, try this.
Yeah.
You know, because I think because Italy is so mysterious with all of its grapes, and you really don't know, you just don't get to learn even, you know, about them. It is a really good way.
Yeah.
You've given me all Italian alternatives that I would never have thought of. So that's fantastic.
Cool.
And the last one is Pinot Noir.
Great question. I've yet to discover a Pinot Noir from Italy that has blown me away.
Oh,
And an alternative grape, though, that you would have instead of, that's got those similar kind of light tannin qualities.
I know I said Etna Bianco for Chardonnay, but Etna Rosso.
very good shout.
The Pinot Noir of Sicily, or...
I would say in Sicily still, c'era solo di Vittoria. Not all producer, but some producer makes a wine that make you think a lot of Pinot Noir while you're drinking.
Yeah.
If you're drinking really expensive red Burgundy, but like Barolo
Yeah.
or Barbaresco.
Yes. Yes.
Brunello di Montalcino with some age, they collide into a very similar style as they age. Because Sangiovese, Brunello di Montalcino has very harsh tannins as the age. It loses down that bitterness brought by the tannins, and it collides to an old Burgundy.
Like good Barolo, they say is like being kicked in the face, but by a ballerina. And some good red Burgundy is like that sometimes as well. You know, you get that like sort of salt on the senses, the tannin, the richness of the wine, but it's kind of delicate and svelte and
What a brilliant way to...
gracious.
Yeah.
It was 2 years ago, we were in London and with a wine rep, and he brought us a taste of a wine, and we both shot. It was a Pinot Noir from Burgundy, and it was one of the top tier Pinot Nero from Fransassa Dolomitic area. I think there is an amazing Pinot Noir in the Dolomites that should be discovered.
Wow.
Same grape variety, called Pinot Nero instead of Pinot Noir, and you find amazing quality, a fraction of the price. That would be my go-to.
Oh, look at the colour of this. So, James, you have one of the wines that you...
Yeah, so I
served?
bottled and labelled this wine myself.
Oh, how exciting.
This is so my sister, who lives in Aldinga Beach, South Australia. She is married to two brothers who are the winemakers. I think, as I said before, maybe this part of the world is famed for, either like Riesling from the Clare Valley, or big, viscous, high alcohol Barossa Shiraz. But there's a kind of wave of new modern producers in South Australia, particularly in the McLaren Vale, who are creating lighter expressions of certain varietals. This, I always say, is not my favorite wine in the world, but if I had to take a wine to a desert island for the rest of my life, it'd be this, because it kind of just reminds me of a really happy time in my life, living out in Australia and working in his vineyard for a bit. And the grape is Grenache.
Grenache.
Again, sometimes we think of Grenache maybe with that big Southern Rhone, inky GSM blends.
Châteauneuf du Pape.
Yeah.
But this is a totally different. Picked a little bit earlier in the season. The maceration on the skin is a little bit shorter.
Look at the colour, it's phenomenal, isn't it?
A little bit of whole bunch. So what we mean by
Yes.
that is when the grapes are pressed, they leave some of them on the stems, and that gives a little bit of that sort of quite crunchy, austere tannin, a little bit of green herbaceous quality in the wine.
That would have been a tricky blind tasted it.
And this is 2025 vintage, so
I would
fresh off the boat.
It would be so difficult to put your finger on as a Grenache. It's so light, bright, crunchy, red fruits.
Strawberries and those kind of red fruits, red currant almost.
Yeah, it's absolutely delicious.
That
It's
is
what my dad
gorgeous.
would have called grass cutting wine. Because you can drink a whole bottle and still mow the lawn after.
Yeah, oh, I love that. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for bringing this, and
No, cheers.
thank you for your hospitality today, and it's
Thank you
been
so much.
wonderful. Cheers.
Really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank
Cheers.
you. Cheers.